podcast has been approved by Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? It is Outcasted OC doing what we usually do a little bit different. Once every couple of weeks or so, we sit down and we talk pop culture, and that is what's today's episode about. But as you can see, it is only the boys this episode because, you know, what only way to start of the boys, talk about the boys. The most recent season has concluded. Season 4 of The Boys was absolutely incredible. I know a lot of people actually didn't like this season, which I was
those people are insane.
Shocked. Yeah, I was a bit shocked. Let me know your thoughts, Rhys. Yeah, let's get into it. What did you think of The Boys this season?
Where do you even begin, man? Let's just begin at the end, right? So I saw a lot of people saying that they didn't like this ending online, and I have no idea how they didn't like it. First of all, I do just want to give a little bit of a shout out to the writers and whoever produced the music on this show to decide to put heart-shaped boxing at the end. It's a little Easter egg because obviously Homelander is controlling the media and he's like, you know, changing his perception of the superheroes. Like, you know, he's actually taking control of the country, but he's seen as the good guy. It's an interesting choice of song because Kurt Cobain wrote that song because he was in a really dark place at the time. And he said at the time, the media were portraying this story about him or this image of him that wasn't true. So It's kind of an interesting, piece of music to choose for the end of this scene. But what did I think of the actual ending of the show? Unbelievable. The whole reveal of the shapeshifter being Annie, like obviously the audience knew, but Huey only knew because she said it's like a furnace. Oh, so good. You've got the bit where A-Train redeems himself close to the end of the season. Unbelievable. Like you saw the face turn coming from A-Train from like from a mile away.
I love how you referred to it as a face turn because
it was defo a face turn, dude. It was defo.
I said the exact same thing to my mate when we were talking about it. Like we were talking at work about this, and I went, "Oh, the heel to face turn of A-Train needs to be investigated and put in a bottle because that was cinema." And they looked at me like, "Heel and face? Are you referring to wrestling as a character dynamic?" I'm like, "Yeah,
dude." It was Sami Zayn or Jey Uso turning on the Bloodline face turn.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Like, so good. I love that. I love the road that it's taken. I didn't expect Victoria Newman to be absolutely torn apart. Just that easily.
That I was a bit like, oh, she kind of didn't even put up a fight, but it made sense because she put her trust and faith in Huey for Butcher to just come in and wreck it. And we knew for a fact Butcher's not the Butcher we all know now. It's the fact of he's took the V, he's gone, oh, right. So my whole personality thing was me actually working with this virus. If I don't basically have my moral compass anymore, cool, I can use my V powers now. And that's how it came across throughout a lot of the season. I loved how they portrayed that. And this was another interesting theory that I don't think you cottoned on to this, but I think you might like where I go with this. So we've noticed when people take temporary V, they start seeing visions of people, like their psychosis comes out, like you see visions of herself. When Annie was struggling with her powers, she saw other versions of herself where she was fighting between which version of Starlight she was. You see Homelander had that breakdown mental image of where you had all these different personalities arguing with him of which one he should be. We had Butcher obviously have his wife and his partner of the good and the evil side of him. Did you notice how Huey also technically had that because he was speaking to his mom? And we don't see Huey's mom speak to anyone else other than Huey's dad. And Huey's dad had me.
I had a little bit of a theory of it throughout the season. I wasn't sure if I was correct because I didn't notice if the doctor acknowledged her or not. Like, you know, while they're in the room, while they were talking about who's got the right of, the do not resuscitate on the dad. I wasn't sure if the doctor actually acknowledged the mum was there. Obviously, they mentioned the mum had the rights, but I didn't know if they acknowledged that the mum was in the room at the time.
They don't. She sat there reading. She, like, the doctor doesn't look in the direction of where she sat. Because I went back and watched that scene to check this, and I'm like, that's weird that they don't acknowledge her. But there was a scene where it looks like they acknowledge her. You know, when Huey's dad runs through and it's in another hospital room, and you see the person look over. He looks like he looks at both Huey and Huey's mom. So maybe she was there. But I kind of like that whole idea of maybe Huey was envisioning his mom there, and
I would like to think so.
There. Yeah,
I would like to think so.
Because I think a lot of what season 4 was for me, and I think this is why I really enjoyed season 4, was they tried to portray the calm before the storm, because it showed these characters right at the beginning, all these victory fanfare, but you started seeing it dissolve more and more for each person. Like, Huey couldn't catch a break. Starlight had an identity crisis of she didn't even know who she was. To her identity was literally stolen. Kimiko was segregated from the only person she ever loved and could talk to, and was still being haunted by her guilt and her past. Same with Frenchie. Frenchie had very much the same end of the coin there, where he's trying to find love. He's trying to fill this void, but he can't because he's still guilt-ridden with the past that still lingers with him. Butcher knows he's on a ticking time bomb, so he knows he has to do something drastic to make sure that, you know, his son, that he, well, it's not his son, it's Homelander's son, but he calls it his son, is protected.
Yeah.
That's what he trusted to his wife. So a lot of it is very symbolic throughout the series. And I think what was perfect for me for the finale of The Boys was not only when the music was playing, but I think the most scene that hits hard to show how we're going into the new age of what's going down was, we know Butcher's got the virus. He was in a car just randomly driving somewhere, and he knew all the soups were going to be at the White House soon. I think he's rocking up to the White House with the virus, and he's like, come on then, I'll leak it into one of you, and then it'll spread like wildfire.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I do have a theory that Firecracker is going to be the one to kill Homelander. And I say this because I have a feeling she's going to inject herself with the virus, and then obviously feed Homelander, and then I think I think that's maybe how he's going to go.
I like that. That's interesting. I didn't take that into consideration.
It's a theory that I've got, and I have a feeling as well that Homelander will get the virus, but I don't know if it'll be strong enough to kill him, but it'll weaken him enough so it's a one-on-one fight between him and Butcher. Because I do think at the end, Butcher needs to kill Homelander. I think that's how it needs to end. Like we've had that since season 1, where it's Butcher versus Homelander. I wouldn't mind it if it was Ryan or someone else, but. For me, the perfect person would be Butcher. Like, he's been like the number one guy, the number one rival of Homelander since the very beginning of the show.
I've been toying with the theory that I genuinely think it might be Huey that does it. It will be like a full final test of his moral compass. Butcher will be down and out, but there is a chance, and I think he is going to see like Butcher down, about to be dead, and just takes it as a last ditch. Wow, look all of what Butcher's done for me. I can't let this fly anymore. And does it. Just because for me, The Boys has always been. I know exactly what you're saying. It's been Butcher from the beginning, but The Boys for me has always felt like Huey's story, and it's been told from Huey's perspective. Because even with how the season opened, Huey has every reason to hate supers because of what A-Train did, even though it was by accident. And his life, as I said, Huey's never been able to catch a break since he got involved with The Boys and all these suits and all this BS. He has every right to stop all superheroes. He has every right to go the genocide route that Butcher is intending to do, but he doesn't. And I think that's where it's going to land on, is going to be the right or wrong decision from Huey's perspective. But I do agree with what you're saying there. I think it is going to be a one-on-one fight from Butcher and Homelander. But what I think is going to happen is people are going to step in and shenanigans are going to happen. I think Soldier Boy being shown, I think they're going to try and hypnotize Soldier Boy and get him alongside Homelander. That's not going to work. They're going to butt heads, which is going to weaken Homelander again because of Soldier Boy's abilities. As you said, potentially feeding Homelander the virus is another way he can be weakened. And I think his son's going to turn on him at some point. I do see his son getting in between.
It's got to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to happen. I think Ryan, at the end of the day, like, he's a bit mad at Butcher at the moment. But I do think that the right move for Ryan is for him to take Butcher's side. Let's talk for a minute about the people who return / who we lost in this season. Obviously, we talked about Victoria Newman before. Let's talk about Mallory. Let's talk about Grace.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
I
could not believe it.
But we also got our favorite boy, Doggo, finally returned out of fucking nowhere. He was like absent for like a season and a half.
I know.
Also, the
Gen
V.
I was buzzing. Oh yeah. We saw. I mean, who took control of Frenchie and Kimiko? You had Sam and Kate from Gen V. Yeah, love that. Who was about to kill Starlight? Cindy, finally back.
Yeah.
Where has she been? Where has this girl been? The last time we saw her was in season 2, and she was hitchhiking. Like, where has this girl been?
So for me, I think that was the scene that hit me the hardest, was Kimiko finally speaking again.
Oh, yeah.
It was because it was new trauma. So the whole reason she wasn't speaking all these years was because the trauma she endured at such a young age, to know the only person she finally got back, got the love of, like, her love for him, them two finally being a couple, stolen away from her screaming to try and get him back, and like couldn't in that moment.
Heartbreaking, wasn't it?
Like, just hearing Kimiko say no, I'm like, I've watched 4.5 seasons of this girl like go through it. I say half because obviously Gen V, we saw teases of what was going on in the background for Kimiko again because of all the stuff they were doing to the young suits as well at the university. And they alluded to Kimiko also experienced that with like the gang that she had, like similar kind of lines, especially with season 4 when they showed it. So yeah, like seeing Kimiko go through all that she did was absolutely ridiculous. But I think every single character this season all got really good development as well. Like the Deep finally got a fucking backbone, even though he killed his octopus girlfriend. Which
no, tragic. R.I.P. Ambrosia. R.I.P.
You said you would put me in the other tank. Nah, babe, you know I gotta clean it and all of this. Like,
she's like, I love you.
Oh yeah, like the prolonged death of where she's like, choking out, so then it's like, but I love you, and then carries on choking out, and then saying something else, then choking.
So many character developments. Black Noir finally got a murder boner. Fair play to him. Congratulations.
Yeah, Black Noir finally became the Black Noir, but can talk and also is a narcoleptic, which I thought
so funny when he keeps on falling asleep during fights. Oh, it's so good.
But it was the way Butcher went, fucker's narcoleptic. I was so dying at the fact they've just smacked a full-on chair off him. And he's like, fucker's narcoleptic.
I love the bit where he's killing Ashley and he's like, and the Deep's like, where's Ashley? And he's like, this is Ashley here. And while he's murdering her, and he goes, no, the other one.
Yeah, and then that's when the scene happens where the Deep just looks at him. It's like, nice, dude.
Yeah. But all jokes aside, one of the most, like, I've not seen many people talk about it. One of the most less talked about character developments in the show this season was Starlight. She went from a pound being on the fritz to her being able to fly at the end, finally. Like she was able to actually
I
take
was gonna
off.
say. Yeah, I like the way they developed that as well. Like the last moment of she had to run and get out of that situation.
So she can finally fly. Because up to now, we only know like 2 people that can fly. Like it's like Homelander, Black Noir, Stormfront used to be able to fly, and now Starlight can. So when it comes to Starlight being able to like fly, I think it was an interesting development because you've got a situation here where Starlight, in the middle of the season, kind of lost confidence in herself, and then all of a sudden was able to get her powers back. And I thought that was just interesting to see. He'll be back in a minute, guys. Don't worry. But I think the fact that she was able to come back into the season at the end with a bang was really interesting for season 5, because I'll tell you this, for season 5. Hello again. Sorry, I carried on talking while you wasn't here.
I was going to say, I'm so glad that you carried on talking, because literally I was so annoyed because I was about to speak about, like, I thought it was really sick that they finally did that with Starlight and everything. And as soon as I went to say that, my whole PC went, nope.
No, don't worry about it. I was just saying, I'm glad that they've got this development out of the way for heading into season 5, because although it's 2 years away, it's nice to see that maybe she's going to be on like a level playing field with like a Black Noir or like a Homelander maybe, like, because I feel like her getting her powers back here, maybe getting a confidence reboost, maybe getting an upgrade after her powers are on the fritz, is maybe like a boost in her powers, but a boost in her strength. I think that's going to be interesting to see.
What I was also going to say, because obviously Gen V is next, season 2 of Gen V, and that's going to show a little bit of the world before we get into season 5. Maybe she gets involved and fights some of the Gen V kids, or maybe she aligns herself with some of the Gen V kids, because she did escape. Yes, Huey was taken, Kimiko, Milk, and Frenchie, and obviously Butcher hasn't yet. Butcher's rocking up to the White House. So
shout out to Love Sausage, by the way,
capturing Mother's Milk with that development.
Yeah, shout out to Love Sausage capturing Mother's Milk. Them two still fighting it out. You gotta love that. I think what's going to happen in season 2 of Gen V is that we're going to probably be seeing Marie Moreau. We're probably going to be seeing Kate and Sam obviously being on Homelander's side. Like that young man who like sadly passed away. I can't remember his name, unfortunately. They've had to rejig the ending of Gen V apparently, because obviously he passed away in a car crash, so his character is not going to be switched up. He's not going to be played by anyone else. So it's going to be a case of they're just writing him out of the show. Maybe they're going to say he was killed by wherever they are. I think they're at Red River, me personally. But maybe Marie Moreau, Jordan is going to be there, obviously, and they're going to meet up with MM. They're going to meet up with Huey. They're going to meet up with a couple more characters that were captured in the actual season of The Boys. I think it's going to be interesting to see if they implement that into the show, because where do Marie Moreau, where do Jordan go from there apart from that? Because you've got a situation here where you've got to write the story of Gen V, but at the same time you have to acknowledge what's going on in the world of The Boys as a whole at the moment. Because with The Boys, Homelander's in control of the country now. Sage has laid out this plan where the president reports directly to Homelander. He does exactly what Homelander says. He's in control of the military. He's in control of the government. You know he's in control of all, obviously, with the absence of Ashley, because where the hell is she gone with her new powers? I want to bring that up in a minute when Ross gets back. But with Gen V, you've got a couple of characters there who you've got to address, because you've got to remember that Sam is still under the influence of what Kate did to him in season 1. Now, Sam isn't inherently a bad guy. He was kind of just influenced by, the fact that he's been in a lab for the past, I don't even know how old he is. He's got to be for the past like 17 years. Obviously, because he was Golden Boy's brother, they were using his powers to make Golden Boy a little bit more powerful. You've got a situation here where Sam has been controlled by Kate. He asked her to take away all of his feelings so he doesn't care, so he can just kind of do whatever she says. Little Cricket has been kidnapped and put in the same room as Marie Moreau and Jordan. Is she going to be the one to bring him back to the good side? That's going to be an interesting little storyline to tell. I will say this, though. I will say this about the boys. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Butcher in the next season, because without spoiling anything from like the comics or anything, Butcher doesn't exactly have the most iconic heroic ending, and with Negan in his head, I don't see it going that way, to be honest. What's his wife's name? Becca. Is Becca going to have a better influence on Butcher because she is now obviously his consciousness, trying to turn him back to the good side? That's like his Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Negan's like the Darth Vader, like, whispering in his ear. So with Butcher going after Homelander, is he willing to sacrifice all the people that was there for him, that was able to be, one on his side, etc.? Because with this virus, it has the potential to cause a worldwide pandemic. Not only could it take out Homelander, it's going to take out Kimiko, it's going to take out Starlight, etc. And there's no one really that can stop him. We saw how powerful he was with the effects of, how he just pretty much took out Victoria Newman with relative ease. The tentacles were able to just cover up her eyes, which stopped her from, doing the whole head pop thing, which stopped her from basically defending herself, and then it just tore her in half. I don't really know what's going to happen about that. I've got to mention something, though, something really important that I've not really seen many people talking about in terms of the boys for the past couple of weeks, but while the whole season has been out, to be honest with you. And that's the fact that Huey still has a Temp V. He still has one more dose of Temp V left there with him in, I don't know where he's keeping it. He might be keeping it in his safe. He might be keeping it in his apartment. But I just hope the writers of The Boys haven't forgotten the fact that Huey has a dose of Temp V left. He didn't take the last dose in the last season of The Boys because obviously Annie was advising him not to. He saw what it was doing to Butcher. It was one of those things where his conscious like sort of took over, and that's why he's not sick, but Butcher is. Now, with the last season of The Boys coming up, with things looking so dire, with enemies mounting at the door, does Huey consider taking that last dose of Temp V? What this would mean possibly is Huey, suffering the same effects as what Butcher's doing. He's dying. Is Huey going to start dying like if he takes this Temp V? Obviously, that's going to affect his happy ever after ending with Annie. So that's going to be a real problem. Again, with Huey, I do have a theory, though. I don't think it's going to be him that's going to be taking the Temp V. If the writers haven't forgotten about it, if the writers haven't, just kind of written off and like, oh yeah, that never happened, don't tell anyone, I think there's one person who he could give the Temp V to, and this person has not been in season 4 of The Boys, but we do know they are still alive in the Boys universe, and that is Queen Maeve. Queen Maeve is still alive. Obviously, she was the one to stop Soldier Boy at the end of season 3. She pushed him out the window while he was exploding, but unfortunately, obviously, that cost her her powers. She was fighting with Homelander. She has like a badass eye patch now. She has none of her powers. She's just a regular woman. Could she possibly be drawn back into the fight? It's entirely possible. You never know, because when you've got, as I say, with enemies mounting at the gate, like a Homelander, like Sage, I suppose like Firecracker, Soldier Boy, you're going to need all the people that you can get on your side. And, Queen Maeve has got to be one of those people, right? Surely Queen Maeve has got to be one of those people. I have a feeling that Queen Maeve could possibly come back into season 5 of The Boys. Let me know what you guys think of that in the comments. There's one more thing a couple more things that I would like to address about season 5 of The Boys, and that is, what is Sage's like phase 2 of her plan? Because with the plan going ahead with what's going on with Sage at the moment, obviously Homelander fired her, got rid of her in the middle of season 4 of The Boys. But Sage knew that was going to happen, right? Because Sage came back in, as everything was like falling to the ground. Homelander thought all was lost. He thought that he was on the losing end until Sage walked back in and said this was all part of the plan. Homelander said, I betrayed you, I broke the plan, this, that, and the other. Well, according to Sage, she knew he was going to do all that. She's the smartest woman on earth. And she says, obviously, the president works for you now. Where do you go from there? She says, buckle up, ready for phase 2. I want to know what that phase 2 is. Because you've got control of America. You've essentially got the president in your back pocket. Is it world domination that she's looking for there? Because, I mean, the rest of the world, to my knowledge, I don't know if they have any other soups. I think Vought controls the majority of the soups, apart from all the soup terrorists that Vought made in like the first couple of seasons. I don't know if like V went to any other parts of the world. I'm not sure about that. Someone's gonna have to update me on that sort of kind of stuff. I'm not 100% sure. But with Vought having the majority of V, I don't know where the rest of the world is going to turn to, because you've got Vought there, and you've got militaries and stuff like that on other countries. But when you've got guys like Homelander, Black Noir, who can fly, shoot lasers out their eyes, you've got Soldier Boy, who is pretty much a bomb. I'm not sure what you're gonna do. And then you've got thousands of other soups who can do other things. I mean, you've got the Deep, who can control fish and like whales and the sea and the ocean and that. So there's your navy gone. You got Homelander, who could probably have a fight with a fighter jet. So there's your air defense gone. And then you've just got superheroes that are super powerful. So how is Vought going to be stopped in season 5 of The Boys? Because Sage seems to be ahead of the game right now. It's got to be addressed. It surely has to be addressed. And one of the ways that I think it could be addressed is Ashley. Now, I'll say this about Ashley. I wasn't expecting her to take the V. I really wasn't. If I'm being completely honest with you, I thought this year or this season, this was going to be the demise of Ashley. I really, really did. I didn't see anywhere else you could go with Ashley. I think I thought she was going to be like at the end of a tether with this company, with all these psycho heroes. I thought she was either going to run away with A-Train, or Homelander was just going to destroy her. Especially when the Deep was like, we're collecting all this information on the dirt, that people have on us. Shouldn't Ashley be at the top of the list? And no matter how loyal she's been to Homelander, how submissive she has been to Homelander, to the Seven, to Vought, to Tech Knight, after all that, he just goes, yeah, why not? Sure. he just sort of like decides, yeah, let's just destroy her, let's just get rid of her. But no, she heads into Homelander's private apartment, steals a bit of V, takes it, and then her head and her body just starts growing, and like it looks like she's going to have some kind of like mega mind powers, like maybe telekinesis. Now, usually when a superhero gets something like telekinesis, you see powers such as a increase in intelligence. Now, what I'm thinking is the only person to combat Sage is going to be Ashley. She's like the CEO of Vought. But if she's all of a sudden got this big brain, this intelligence, maybe she's one of the only people that can help the boys and the good guys tackle what Sage has in plan for phase 2. Hello, by the way, again, Ross.
Hi, sorry about that. Apparently, my PC decided it wanted to get hit with the virus that Frenchie's been cooking up and decided to just hard crash and die.
Yeah, no worries, dude. I've been carrying this shit for like 25 minutes. I think I've been speaking for straight. I'm not sure, but I've been carrying. I've carried on talking about the boys. Did you hear my theory about Ashley just then?
Yes, I do like the idea that she is going to get telekinesis or something like that. I thought the same when we kind of seen all the hair fall out and the fact of her skull went enlarged. I don't know. It's either going to be she's going to have like a monstrosity form, or as like you said, she's going to be like big brained, especially with all the ideas and knowledge she had. And I think it's kind of one of those where because her ego was always destroyed, I think it's kind of played into that in her thing, big head, big ego kind of thing. So she's gonna try and counter Sage, like you said there, which would be really cool. Like in general, the boys has got some of the most interesting story development going into season 5. Like as we said, but Butcher by no way means now is not thinking let's go genocide, even though it'll kill him, it'll be a suicide mission, but he knows
There's more.
Be gone.
There's one more thing because I don't want to like overlap what I've just spoke about there, like because I carried on the conversation to be honest. But there's one more thing that I didn't talk about before we move on to something else, and that is Soldier Boy. Now, the way Homelander looked at Soldier Boy. By the way, I'm so glad Jensen Ackles is back. One of my favorite actors. One of my favorite things about the boys. Jensen Ackles is amazing. So many ties to Supernatural with the president saying balls and idiot and stuff like that.
I'm glad you said it because I was going to say this. And have you saw who's been signed on for season 5?
Yeah, Sam. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got Dean and Sam in the boys, which I find.
I saw that. I don't know what he's going to be, but it's going to be interesting.
He's going to be filling in the spot for A-Train. So you know how they have the speedster. He's going to be the brand new speedster they added.
Really?
Yeah. So he was the second fastest person in the world. So they're adding him in to fill A-Train's spot. Hence why he looks like the Flash.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. Well, that'll be interesting to see then. So, like, my thing about Soldier Boy is the way that Homelander looked at him. He looked happy, but like kind of like, oh crap, at the same time because he found out Soldier Boy was alive. Now, the thing that Sage said this season was like, there's only one person that you can't defeat, and that obviously being himself.
Yeah.
Homelander has major psychological issues in terms of like needing to be praised and approved, and he's got severe daddy issues, obviously. Now, we already know that Soldier Boy doesn't actually like Homelander. Like, he called him a disappointment in the last season. Is he going to wake him up and still be like, look what I've done? Like, look, I'm the leader of America at this point. Like, Mr. USA. Are you proud of me now? Like, or is this going to be like the downfall of Homelander? His constant need of approval.
It's going to be the downfall. But what I also think is going to happen, and I've been sat on this theory for a while now. I think Soldier Boy is going to start looking like Homelander, like purposely try and make him look like Homelander, do the most diabolical, messed up shiz that Soldier Boy can do to ruin Homelander's image of being this Mr. USA and make the whole world go against him. Like, without obviously spoiling comic book territory and things like that, because obviously comic books is very different to how the boys is now. In the comic books, there were 2 versions of Homelander, which was Black Noir, and then Homelander had videos and pictures leaked of him of doing really unhumane things we can't talk about on a YouTube platform without being demonetized. And that was spread everywhere. And he had this whole mental breakdown of, I didn't do that. I don't ever remember doing that. I wouldn't do such a thing. Like, even Homelander had this moral compass. There are certain things you do not go and do. Yet this other version of me has done it. I think we're going to have that where Soldier Boy's going to start dressing like Homelander, not getting his face caught, only the suit, and start doing it when Soldier Boy does, like when Homelander doesn't see it, and Soldier Boy's going to do it that way of being like, no, you are the disappointment because look at everything you did in your suit. And then reveal later, no, I went and did it to screw you over.
There is one more thing that is a really good point as well, and I think the boys have one more ace in the hole, and I think this would turn even the most like strongest Homelander supporters against him, and that is the Flight 37 video.
Yeah,
they still have it, and it's still being teased as well. And once that finally comes out, I think that is going to send Homelander off the edge, off the rails. Like I don't think there's anything. I think he's going to turn full.
There's no way you can redeem it because of how many people died in that flight. There were like women, children, kids. There were pregnant women on that flight.
Oh, and he just left him. Yeah.
He just left them for dead and nearly let Maeve die until he was like, oh no, because me and you have a weird thing. Like he had a thing with Maeve at the time.
Don't die with them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're coming with me. And that was it. And I'm just like, are you fucking like,
yep. And he even threatened him. He's like, "You get back, or I'll laser all of you."
Yeah. Like you get the fuck back down. You sit the fuck back down, or I'll laser your head off. I'm just like, okay, yep, that makes total sense where we're going with that. But yeah, we will move on because I think very much we have covered a lot of the boys, and we still have a lot of extra other stuff to cover.
Oh yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments of that, by the way, guys.
Yeah, let us know what you guys are thinking so far. Like, obviously, we can see the live chat is doing well and nice. I love G saying that. I know the Finn guy plays Nate in Gossip Girl. That's how you're going to remember just the deep now is just, oh, it's that guy from Gossip Girl. That's great. But yeah, like, thank you for obviously covering when I had the internet cut out there for a hot minute. Rhys doing the bits there. So big shout out to Rhys.
Dude, I used to do a podcast by myself where I used to talk about things to myself for an hour, so I'm used to it, don't worry.
Well, playing on the created by one, but controlled by two. Let's talk about some Star Wars Acolyte.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of Darth Plagueis. Wait, what?
The redeeming factor of Acolyte for me.
Oh my god.
Acolyte was a whirlwind of emotions for me. Like, there are good, there are bad, and there is the in between. I thought.
Yeah, so talk me through it. Tell me what you think of it. Yeah, because like you've just watched got to the end, haven't you, recently?
Yeah. So like I pretty much got to the last episode yesterday because I've been like binging it on and off while I've been doing other stuff. So like I've been on and off with it for a while, and the first 4 episodes I think are good in cinematography style and the lightsaber battles and like the conflict between who's a Jedi, who's not a Jedi, where is your allegiance to, and obviously the Senate kind of being involved. I liked where the Senate is and how they were like in the background, but they were like, we're still going to watch what you're doing. The whole fact that they were hiding, oh, there's potentially a Jedi serial killer. But we're not going to tell the Senate. We're not going to tell the government. We're going to keep it internally as only a Jedi situation. I'm like, yeah, because that's not going to have any major repercussions to, I don't know, what happens in all of Phantom Menace where the Senate don't trust Jedis again.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just like, for me, the story, like, I don't know what it was, but some of the characters' acting really threw me off. I was like, I really can't stand some of these characters. I loved Soul's Apprentice. I can't remember her name. The one with the orange that was underneath her eyes.
Oh, yeah. The one who gets triple stabbed.
Yeah, the one. Yeah. Which was bullshit, by the way. I just want to put that out. She was arguably one of the coolest fighters. Oh, you give me another dual lightsaber wielder, nearly doing Ahsoka's style of Jedi style, just to get fucking offed right near the end. I bet. And then the freaking Jedi Knight, where he's like, oh yeah, I've been a knight for like 2 years, gets like freaking triple tapped. Like, no problem.
Oh, dude, how cool was that though, man? Oh
yeah, the fact that he killed him, no lightsaber, just went, oh, you want to step to me? Okay, spin your arm around, arm lock, head lock, I'll snap your neck, you're gone, throw you across, and what? I'm just like, yo.
Dude, the reveal of the reveal of Kaime was so good as well, though. When he when he triple stabbed, I know their name's escaping me as well, but when he triple stabbed her and his mask was off already, so you still didn't see his face, but the reveal of his face was when she fell to the side and she was dead.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that was so frigging cool, man.
For me, one of the coolest cinematographies is in the last episode, and I think you'll agree with me on this one. It's it's where the two sisters both kick each other at the exact same time, and as they hit, you just see Soul hit the lightsaber, and they literally transition to the two lightsabers hitting in that fight. I was like, symbolic wise, that is fucking dope, because they are literally showing how they are fighting with their own conscience and what they believed was justified. And I was like, right, now you've pulled me back in, because before then I was like, right, this will they, won't they, of which sister is evil and which one's not, is now pissing me off. They basically both are evil in their own way. Just explain that.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
Well, so talk me through your opinion of May and Osha. So, like their story.
I loved Osha. I preferred Osha's story because I liked the kind of fallen hero of, yes, I tried to be a Jedi. Yes, it was ingrained into me because I lost my family and I wanted to build a secondary family. That made...
Yeah.
Evil. I thought when she turned evil and went against Soul, that was cooler. May for me was awful. I thought May's story made no sense. Cool, you've made her this assassin that is going against after these other Jedis, to then she's questioning her own assassination, knowing she failed the Sith, to then, oh, I'm going to now leave because I'm going to get killed by the Sith, to then you still go and do things that are literally the antithesis of being a Sith Lord. You are still killing people. You are still doing unjustified things, and you still screwed over Soul. And I'm like, right, May, I don't care for your story anymore. And like Osha, for me, when she did the major reveal, found out from Soul trying to be this kind of, I'm trying to explain, I tried to do what I thought was best, and you see the Kyber bleed, like the Kyber.
Go on, sorry, what are you saying? Hello?
Oh, did it cut me off? For God's sake.
No, go on. Sorry.
Hello, my PC is hating me today.
Sorry.
So, as I was saying, like, for me, May's story just, it fell flat. Osha's right near the end, where the bleeding of the crystal, the realization from what Soul said, and she just literally, she snapped and just went, shut up, and stopped talking, and choked him out and bled the, like, Kyber crystal. And that's, like, the first ever canonical, like, lightsaber bleed we've seen in Star Wars. I thought, right, that's perfect, and that fits Osha's story. But I felt I thought May was just an afterthought. Again, like, for me, May just felt like an afterthought every time. It's like, okay, so you've introduced that she's the bad guy. Now you've made the other girl, who is meant to be her literal other part, now be the bad guy. Like, you keep blurring these lines.
So,
oh, has it crashed on me again?
I tend to agree in terms of May. I'm one of those people who agree with you when it comes to May. I think Osha was a lot better set up at the end, and then I thought the whole Kaimei scene, I would have liked to have seen more of that dynamic with her and Kaimei. In my opinion, I think that planet is Baldemnik, and I'll explain why in a moment. With May, I don't know. I know it was the same character, the same actress playing May, but I really didn't like her acting in this show for May. And I'll say the same about Carrie-Anne Moss as well. I really thought her character was really boring. I didn't think she provided anything towards the show, even though apparently her budget to get her on the show was astronomical.
Yeah, she felt like she didn't really have a value as her character. Like I looked at every scene she was in, and I was just like, oh, it's you again. Cool. What are you going to do this time? I think the only one that gave value was like when they had that conflict with like the Senate. Like I said.
Well, this is another character that I was a little bit confused about in the show, Vanestra Rowe. So I don't know if you do, but I read the High Republic novels, and obviously the war with the Nihil takes place about 100 years before this. No spoilers towards the other novels, apart from we all know, if you're a fan of the High Republic novels, you all know who Marcion or Marcion, however you want to say it, Marcion Rowe is. During the fight with the Nihil, Vanestra Rowe is a young-ish Padawan turned into a Jedi Knight. She is one of the youngest Jedis ever to achieve knighthood. She has this light whip that you saw in the show because there's this little story going on in the show about how she doesn't like hyperspace travel, that it makes her sick and uneasy. She actually developed that light whip during a vision that she had in hyperspace, that the Force told her she needed to develop a light whip, and she became very, very good at using it. So here's the thing about Vanestra Rowe. I want to know how, and I hope we get a season 2 that explains this. I want to know how she became. She came from being a bright-eyed Padawan / Jedi Knight who had the world, at her feet, that she was so good, like fighting evil and stuff like that, to now being like a shady, let's not tell the High Council or keep things to myself, like in this show. I mean, I know there's 100-year difference. I understand that. I get that. But it's very much implied that obviously we know that Kaimir was her apprentice at one point, but it's very much implied that the scars on his back are from her light whip. So she used to whip him with the light whip. So I want to know why she did that, and why all of a sudden she's a heel.
Well, this was kind of my thinking as well. Like, especially the last episode where she hesitated and was like, "You're still alive," and realized these things as well. I'm like, right. So you're meaning to tell me you trained him up, you knew what happened. You potentially are part of the reason he aligned himself with the Sith, became the murderer he was, especially because of the scarring and everything. But like, you're just gonna act like, oh no, he's here. Like, duh, no reason he's not gonna be there and causing the chaos that he is. He just killed half your Jedis that you didn't want to raise suspicion, because this was another thing that really pissed me off. Gather as many knights as you can without making it conspicuous. Fucking 30 knights have rocked up and half of them are dead. Like,
yeah.
How is that amount of Jedi knights not conspicuous? I'm sorry.
I thought, where did they all go? Yeah.
I'm sorry. If I'm Yoda, I'm sat there like, what are you doing with half my Jedis? And I'm sorry. I can openly say this because obviously we saw Yoda at the end of the fucking series. Spoilers if you haven't watched Acolyte, by the way, but most of this episode is going to be spoilers because we've just spent half an hour speaking about the boys finale. But yeah, like, the fact that Yoda was there, Yoda can sense when fucking Jedis die. They've confirmed that. Multiple movies, multiple TV series where his heart, like, this is the one that annoys me. Like, Clone Wars. We literally saw Yoda have his heart break because he sensed when Order 66 happened, he sensed the amount of force that left the world. So you're telling me he didn't realize half of those Jedis that just died, and he's like, oh, there's no disturbance in the force, I'm not going to realize it. Nah, they've got to play that in season 2. They've got to make Yoda stand up and be like, I don't trust that shit now.
Here's my thing about Yoda. They need to be very careful with his character at the moment, because they need to be careful that they're not turning Yoda into a dick. And what I mean by this, the way they're playing him at the moment. So again, I'm going to go back to the High Republic novels. Yoda makes a decision in the High Republic novels to keep it a secret that these creatures called levelers exist. that can destroy Jedi. He is the one who decides to keep it a secret and to hide it from the Senate and to hide it from the public.
But that makes sense because he's trying to saving the Jedi.
It makes sense, but that makes him look like he's playing politician when he's supposed to be a Jedi that's guided by the Force. Okay, this is a second iteration. Okay, so Vanestra Rowe, in my opinion, is about to go tell Yoda the truth about what's just happened. She's telling the Senate, a lie of what happened, that it was Sol who caused all this and all that. And then she's going to go to Yoda and tell him the truth. Now, this is another, or maybe going to be another time that Yoda is going to hide the truth from the Senate and from the rest of the Jedi. And the reason why I say this, and it's already been confirmed, in The Phantom Menace, you have two versions of what happens in terms of the Sith. You have Ki-Adi-Mundi, who says, impossible, the Sith have been extant for a millennia, 1,000 years, even though this takes place 80 years before The Phantom Menace. So he doesn't know that the Sith exist, okay? But at the end of The Phantom Menace, Yoda knows about the rule of two, a master and an apprentice. Now, you would only know about the rule of two if you knew about the Sith post 1,000 years, because Darth Bane 1,000 years ago invented the rule of two. So there's only one way that Yoda could know, and why does he know? And why does Mace Windu seem to be so chill when he tells him? Because he must know. Yoda must have told him at some point. So Yoda is kind of hiding things from the rest of the Jedi and the rest of the Senate about the Sith. That's my only thing. And I'll say this as well. With Yoda, he is playing a very dangerous game all the way through up until the prequels, the sequels, or the original trilogy, whatever the hell you want to call it. With obviously he was hiding everything, and that's how Revenge of the Sith happened. That's how everything happened with Yoda. You've got a guy here who has not told the truth for a long time, and all of a sudden is creating a load of crap for the Jedi in the High Republic era. That's the thing that you're going to have to be worrying about when it comes to Yoda.
See, I like that you brought up the factor of the Phantom Menace, where there were two things, two things, where they said about the two different versions of the Sith. Because obviously we've got the iconic line where a certain person that turned up in Acolyte, which still made no sense, by the way, saying about, the Sith have been gone for decades now. It's like, nah, they haven't. They have not, and
So they're supposed to be in secret. Exactly, that's what I mean. They're supposed to be in secret. So that's it. Makes sense why everyone had to die on that planet, because then the Sith people would have known about the Sith. But Yoda's the only one who isn't. The only one who isn't fooled by that. He's the only one who knows, because he decides to keep it a secret. Now, Ki-Adi-Mundi, big head guy, thinks that they have been extinct because no one has told him. Vanestra Rowe hasn't told him. Yoda hasn't told him. Everyone who else that could have told him is either dead or has had the mind wiped. So that makes sense. But Yoda hiding all of this as the Grand Master doesn't really make sense.
Exactly. And like a lot of where my frustration is now as well is you've only got 100 years of history to work with. So you're going to tell me they're going to fix all of these resolutions within like the next 10, 20 years before Phantom Menace even happens. Like, I don't see how what's just happened in Acolyte squeezes nicely into Phantom Menace. I want them to do it because I want them to have the same continuity like how Rogue One did, where I think Rogue One is a perfect movie because it fits in a specific slot where you can go straight in. So I'm skeptical. I hope there's season 2, but I don't like where some of it's gone.
Here's my theory. Theory time, baby. So you see Plagueis in the cave, watching Chimera and Osha. Now, I don't know if Chimera knows that Plagueis exists or he knows that he's watching him. I think he might. And I don't think Plagueis is the master of the Sith at the moment. I think he's currently still an apprentice to Darth Tenebris. Tenebris was Plagueis' master, and the reason why I think this is Baldemnik, the planet that Chimera is on, is because if you've ever read or listened to the Plagueis novel, it starts with Tenebris and Plagueis on a planet called Baldemnik, and they are trying to investigate a cortosis mine. And they found like a vein of cortosis. Now, Chimera's mask is made of cortosis.
Yeah.
And if you saw in the cave when he was talking to Osha, it's all around the wall. So I think that's a mined out cortosis mine. Now, in terms of Chimera being Plagueis' apprentice, either Chimera is going to die, because obviously Palpatine has to take that role eventually, or something else that's being teased throughout this TV show is Chimera is going to break off and become the very first Knight of Ren.
Which would make sense.
It would make sense because every single time something happened with Osha or something terrible happened, like with Chimera, like him killing a Jedi, in the background you heard Kylo Ren's theme song.
Yes,
like
yes.
That that's Kylo Ren's theme song. So he could be the very first Knight of Ren. He said he wanted a student, he wanted a pupil, he wanted an acolyte. I would quite like that to happen because the Knights of Ren have to come in from somewhere, and it'd be cool to see like a link up with the sequel trilogy. In terms of Plagueis, I would quite like to see what happened in the book happen in the second season of the Acolyte, where Plagueis kills Tenebris on Baldemnik by dropping all the rocks on him. And then a couple of years later, we've still got 80 years, so it's possible. And then about 20 years down the line, so 60 years before the Phantom Menace, he finds Palpatine and starts training him. I think that'd be really cool. I mean, my end goal, to be honest, is to have a young Palpatine series played, and I don't think anyone else could play young Palpatine as good as like Tom Hiddleston. I think he'd be so good at playing him. I really think like him, like maybe doing like a low key kind of character would be so good. He'd be great as Palpatine, honestly. And that's my end goal at the end of the day. I want to see where Plagueis goes. I want to see what happens with Chimera and Osha, etc. I would love to see all of that happen. But yeah, like it's going to be interesting to see if the show actually gets greenlit for a season 2. So, unless Ross is froze, are you still there, dude? Oh, it looks like he's froze. So I'll carry on talking. I love talking about Star Wars anyway, so I'll just carry on talking. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in season 2 because is May going to find a way back to Osha? Now we know that obviously she has lost a memory. Chimera conveniently not just like removed himself from her memory, not just removed Osha from her memory, he kind of blanked him like all of her life out, like 16 years of her life out. I just thought that was kind of insane, to be honest with you. Like, so she's reverted to being like an 8-year-old child, which is pretty mad when you think about it. So is Vernestra Rowe going to help her get back her memories? Is Yoda going to help get back her memories? Is Osha eventually going to find a way back to May and, you know, help her get back to who she is? I don't know, because I feel like the whole point of this Vergence with May and Osha is to harvest the power that they both have. Now we know that Plagueis, years and years on, is able to manipulate life and bring people back from the dead. And he is in Legends, not in canon right now, the reason why Anakin is existing, because he messed with the midichlorians, he messed with the Force, and the Force kind of bit back and created this being out of the Force itself, and he was terrified of that. So was this his first attempt of manipulating midichlorians to get Mother Anastasia to have these twins? It would be interesting to see if him and Tenebris was the reason why May and Osha exist.
I think it is. I think that would make the most sense to tie in a lot more.
Yeah,
Especially
agree.
because how they showed, and this will make sense, the helmet scene. If you know which one I'm referring to, when she's told to like use it as like a sensory deprivation tank type of deal.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it'll block everything out. Use it to block it out. And then as he goes to grab it, you see his eyes turn to pure black, and it very much comes across. It's like the witches and more of the more magical and darker side of the Force. So I feel like that would make sense if it is him messing with the Force caused the twins to happen, especially with the way the twins have been and the way she could bleed a crystal that quickly and the way she just
Oh, so cool.
someone. Like, I'm sorry, for her to snap the way she did and go straight into that violent tendency of, I can use the Force, like, because we've barely seen her use it. And then out of nowhere, she's like, oh, here you go, boom, I've killed someone.
Yeah, she's so naturally affiliated with the dark side. Yeah,
that to me comes across like, okay, someone's crafted you to be that good. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like as she said, yes, she trained as a Jedi and then left the Jedi. Jedi would have never taught that. For her, that was like, like the old expression of once you've learned a bike, it's only just getting back on the saddle. For her, that was like her natural getting back on the saddle. The dark side of her took over, and it was just like walking for her. She could just do it. So,
100%.
Yeah. To me, it comes across like there is definitely more higher power at work there for both of those twins. Her having her May having her memory wiped, I think is going to be a very interesting concept for the next season. Because we'll have to see how that goes. Because they could make her a very strong Jedi now. But
they could do the same. I mean, actually, I don't hate to do it. I love pulling back on Legends material. But Revan, they did the same to Revan in Knights of the Old Republic. They wiped his memory. So, it'd be cool to see if they do go in a similar route with May.
Yeah, definitely. But
yeah,
I think Acolyte was for a lot of people. Obviously, they went in a bit. Oh, it's got people that have been hired that have never watched Star Wars before. But you had Filoni helping on it. You had the Star Wars director. She helped work on it and that, and was going to obviously make sure it had enough continuity, which it has. Some of the scenes were a bit okay. How, like the one that really pissed me off, and you'll agree on this. How the fuck did she cut off Drex with a fucking lightsaber and not cut her scalp? So.
Yeah, I know. And another thing that kind of annoyed me as well is like I know she kind of cut her to make it like obviously like hide it, but how the hell did Sol like not immediately notice it was May because of the mark on her face? Like, are you saying?
Do you know what annoyed me more?
Go on.
You know which twin is twin because one has a fucking tattoo. You know what I would?
Yeah.
If you were a fucking smart Jedi, you would have gone to her. Show me your arm tattoo, so I know it's you. Because if you knew,
do this thing called the Force, where you can sense who it is.
Yeah, like it baffled me that he didn't even thought process it. So you're telling me you're gonna have one of the most iconic Star Wars fight scenes in a long time? Sorry, that fight scene was fucking sick. There's not a lot.
Is that the one the one in the last episode, or the one in the episode 4?
The one in the last episode.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You can't tell me you have a Jedi that skilled with lightsabers, that battle smart, and you're telling me he didn't sit there and go, which twin are you?
Yeah, I know, right? After a massive battle. Oh, dude, can I just talk about that battle for a minute? The way he doubled through the lightsabers, Kaime, was dope.
Do you know what? That lightsaber, I want that lightsaber because, right, this is going to make you laugh, but for me, that is now my all-time favorite lightsaber, and there is one particular reason why.
Is it because of is it called a Chinook? Like, because of the smaller one?
So
like,
the smaller one is actually based on a traditional Japanese sword where it is a katana and a tanto. It is referred to as tanto, which is the smaller dagger. So, in Samurai Champloo, Mugen has his sword is a katana, and in the case of the katana, he can pull out a tanto that he uses in a last-ditch effort. So they fucking did. Him just stood there with the lightsaber and went, "Oh, by the way, here's a I lost my shit because I was like, that is one of my favorite like weapon designs ever. Not just
It's so clever as well.
It's one of the coolest. Like, here's a sneak pocket up my sleeve. Here's an extra blade. I'm like, yo, give me all of it.
It's very clever. It's very clever because like it's great for lightsaber combat because like you can use a smaller one to block, or you can use a larger one to block, and like the smaller one to get in under. It's great.
Yeah, and I just thought it was so cool.
It was amazing. It was brilliant. I did like that. You're right. Yeah, it was really cool.
And like the Apprentice as well, having the dual lightsabers. I thought hers was really cool as well. Like the fact of cool, we're already showing dual lightsabers. In
the High Republic era, I like the way they brought attention to this as well. Like the yellow lightsabers.
Yeah,
I kind of use as like Sentinel lightsabers. They're allowed to go out and kind of do whatever they want in the High Republic era. Like they follow the Force, kind of like how Qui-Gon Jinn does it. But it was kind of more accepted in the High Republic era, and then they weren't all just politicians. I loved that. I thought that was really, really cool.
This is one thing I said to you when we first had Acolyte Alliance. I said I want a lot more prominent Sentinel blades. I wanted a lot more of them playing into the I am on the side of the Force, but I am neither good nor evil. And that's where a lot of the yellow showed of the Knights, where it is we are very noble, we are very one with the Force, but we don't let our feelings dictate to us. And I thought that was very, very cool to see. And I loved, I keep going back to this like bleed of the lightsaber, but it's such an iconic scene because we've never really seen anything like that. I loved when she did that bleed, you saw the tip of the blade still being blue.
Yeah, I know.
You still saw there was a bit of remorse in her. She couldn't do it. She was still questioning, should she kill Sol and everything like that. And I was like, that's perfect in itself to show what it took for her to get to that point.
On the other side, it literally looked like the light was being drained from her, and that last bit of light was still there, but then it just got took over.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's such like a symbolic scene of like how Jedis become Siths, and it really worked in that scene. So I have a lot of praise for that. Other scenes, I was a bit like, okay, you're messing around a bit too much here. Like, I think you'll probably agree on this one. I did not like the scene where he looped over his lightsaber and used the hand to push it back towards the helmet, and the sparks were coming towards the helmet. I'm like, surely, if we've had the reveal of the small dagger, couldn't he could have just dropped the small dagger and stabbed Sol in that moment of the other lightsaber being pushed back?
I mean, you would think so. You would think so, yeah. I tell you what I did like about like this, like putting things properly into canon, because obviously we've seen Beskar block lightsabers and block armor, like, you know, like your bullets and that. I'm glad that they brought Cortosis into like not canon, because it was already canon with the Thrawn Alliances novel, because of the droids that were made a little bit out of Cortosis. They would short out weapons. I'm glad that we've seen it on the big screen now, where like Cortosis shorts out lightsabers, and it actually did that in the old books. So I'm really glad that we've seen that.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool to see multiple times where the lightsaber like really struggled to phase back through. Like if it was hit straight like blunt force, it was like, yep, nope, you ain't sparking that.
There was little attentions to details that I really loved in the show as well. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but Kaime's helmet, he can't actually see.
Yeah.
So he's actually purely using the Force to fight. Like, it is a deprivation helmet, and he actually uses fully just the Force to fight. I think that's really cool.
It's sent. He can't hear from it as well, apparently, because if you watch where he does a scene, this was a really cool attention to detail I noticed last episode where she goes, "Oh my god, you're still alive." He slams the helmet on. They purposely cut out all audio for like 30 seconds when he does that to point out he has blocked out everything and he can't hear anything.
So it's only the Force that can tell him what's going on, basically. Yeah.
It's not a case of she can connect, like she can connect to him. It's I've blocked you out because I can't hear out, like I can't hear you as well. And I thought that was like such a cool little boom. We're gonna prove this. I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
I'm just looking forward to season 2. So let's just to wrap up on the Acolyte. Like, who's your favorite character?
I've gotta say Soul. I didn't want it to be Soul, but I genuinely loved all the combat Soul did. Combat wise, I've definitely got to give it Soul.
Yeah, I would say Soul as well.
Character wise, I've got to give it to Soul's Apprentice. I thought she was such a fun character because she truly embodied like a young kid, but understood the Force and understood what it was to be a Jedi. And she wasn't obnoxious or a dick. And she still had like the child humor in her. Like, I love the first episode where it's like they assign the Jedi Knight who's been like a knight for 2 years. They say his name and it's like, really? Him? And Soul's like, what's wrong with him? And she's like, oh, it's nothing. It's just he's him. So then literally 30 seconds later, that joke is explained because he stood there ironing his fucking robes. And she's just like, put some clothes on. Like, for me, like, right, okay, so you're a character that understands the value of why you're a Jedi, why you're an apprentice, but you also still have your childlike humor. Cool, I respect it. I also like how she still tried to be on the side of Osha as soon as she knew Osha was like being put against her and wasn't like a bad person. And then initially she like tried to help her and was like, look, your past doesn't shape you, and was trying to like fight alongside Osha. I was like, yeah, cool. I can fully support this character.
That's some really good points about those characters, to be fair. I'll also say Soul. I thought he was very, very cool. For me, it's Kaime. I think he did the guy who played him. I think he did such a good job of playing him. Really, really cool. Apparently, he wrote like a page of how he was planning to play the character to the writers, and that's how he got the job.
Wow.
Yeah, like he wrote like a page of like like what the character that he was going for, like he was looking to play, and apparently that's how he got the job. Like after he'd done done the audition. He also wanted as little as possible for people to do stunts for him, so that's mostly him that you see doing the fights.
That's so sick.
Yeah, he spent a long time learning martial arts for the role.
Sol as well, Sol's actor, who's been known famous for Squid Game, which was all Korean. He purposely spent the past 9 to 12 months, I think it was, learning English for his role.
Fair play to him. He did really well. Sometimes it looked like it was being dubbed, but if it was actually him that did it, then fair play to him.
It is all him. It is all him voicing it. Obviously, as you said, like some of it looks dubbed. Maybe it's because of how he's pronunciating or the accent. Obviously,
maybe
he's not going to be because it's a second language for him.
Fair play to him, honestly, because I think he did a very good job of portraying English emotion as well. Like in his voice, not just I know English. My name is Saul. It was like he was a proper person.
Yeah, he properly pronunciated, and like when he was talking about the emotional scenes about like Osha, when it was like, but Osha was my apprentice. I wouldn't ever expect her to go and kill another Jedi. Like he spoke from the heart, and you felt it. It wasn't him like Osha, but I taught her. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't AI. Like he had the emotional tone to it.
His last episode was so good. Like the way he was talking to May when she was laying on the bed, the bit where he was getting choked out, and he says like, "I forgive you." Like so good. Like his acting was very good all the way through the show, but like it peaked at the last episode, which is the perfect place to peak. So fair play to him. That Master Soul, very, very good character. Kaime for me again, probably my second favorite character. So yeah, that's my opinion on the Acolyte. Can't wait for season 2. Can't wait for the next Star Wars project, whatever that may be.
Well, speaking of Star Wars, because we're still on the subject, Star Wars Outlaw video game had a lot of praise and a lot of hype from a lot of me and Rhys when the reveal trailers came out. It looked polished, it looked solid, and we are now kind of eating our own words. A lot of the fans are. Ubisoft have done their usual Ubisoft, give us an amazing looking trailer, but when gameplay is revealed, they look like they've toned back quite a bit of what was revealed.
Did they do this for Watch Dogs? Like,
did it with Watch Dogs, have done it with the past 3 Assassin's Creed titles.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about this. Like, I'm just a bit let down by it. I mean, I hope it's still going to be a good game, but it just doesn't look as good. I mean, maybe it's like in the final development. It feels like I've had a proper Saints Row done to me.
Yeah, no, that's where a lot of where I'm coming from now is like I understand a reveal trailer is always going to be a lot better than the actual genuine gameplay or things like that. And they always say in the trailers, like, subject to change, or this is not the final product of how it'll look. And I understand it as a business market. I've done game development for 3 years. I understand it. I've been there, done that, wore the torch, knew how to advertise a game. But for such a strong IP like Star Wars, and you've had perfect, and I mean perfect Star Wars games that have came out in Jedi Survivor and like Last Jedi, like, come on, you can't drop games like that and then you as another company sit there and go, our game's going to be just as good because our game's going to be open world, and then you don't take the time and care in the open world aspect.
Just delay it and make it look better. Just delay it, make it look better, do whatever you want. People would rather have you delay your game than have it.
Rhys has crashed for crash this time.
Oh, like, have I crashed, or like, can you hear me still? Oh, okay. Like, well, the thing we were talking about Star Wars.
It was.
Oh, can you hear me now? It's the thing about like games that are coming out is the fact that just delay it. People would rather have you delay a game than have it come out unfinished or have it coming out looking like that. Like, I mean, you've got a certain amount of people that will tolerate things eventually like fall off because you begin to lose faith in these kind of things. And like, we've seen this in the Star Wars community as a whole for the past couple of years, where people have started to fall off because they've started to lose faith in what people are producing. And especially when it comes to the games, like you said, we had Fallen Order, Survivor, which were great games. Just delay the frigging game, dude. Like, if it's not ready, if you want to make it look a little bit better, just delay it. I don't know how else to say it. That's just for me anyway.
Yeah, that's the same argument as me. I know companies have to meet deadlines. I know companies have to do their right to sell a game and put it out on the market for when they have said they have, because that becomes more of a liability issue. But if you openly say the game's not quite ready, we're going to postpone it for a bit just because we want to make it a bit more polished, I don't see any issue with that. I never have. No Man's Sky had to do it a couple of times. Cyberpunk had to do it a couple of times. Those games still came out, weren't perfect, but they have had development after development. I'd rather a game gets constant updates and constant workarounds to make the game as polished as can be, because my logic in that is, okay, the game is still getting life to it. A lot of games now, they drop it, have a year or so of people hyping it up, enjoying it, DLC comes out. As soon as the DLC's done, they don't care anymore. And I'm like, but you've got perfect games to carry on doing more with. If you just dropped a random update out of nowhere, being like, oh, we've changed some of the guns, or we've changed some of the levels, here's some new areas, or hey, we've buffed this character, nerfed this character, people are going to pick it up again. And this is one of the things, like, I think a lot more companies need to start doing again, especially with franchises like Star Wars. You're now remastering Star Wars Bounty Hunter as well. And I love Star Wars Bounty Hunter. But my problem is, are you going to, your remaster, is your remaster the case of you're going to actually make gameplay changes? Like, are you going to change the control scheme? Are you going to change how it works? or is it just going to be a graphic remaster that you put it on most recent consoles? Like, you have
AKA
to make,
cash grab.
yeah, and like you have to make that very clear. Like, if what I like is where games will openly state, by the way, it's not a remake, it's a remaster. Where like a remaster is just, hey, we're rebooting it on a new platform. And yes, a lot of people are saying the Star Wars Bounty Hunter has said it's a remaster, but at the same time, they haven't made it very specific of how it's being a remaster. Like, take the Crash Bandicoot games, for example, when they rebundled them.
Yeah.
They openly said it's a graphics update. It's still going to play the same way that all the old previous games were. Same with the Spyro bundle that they did on the PS4 as well. Still going to play all the old Spyros like they did. And they did exactly what they said they were going to do. So just tell me how you're going to remaster it. Don't just be like, oh, we're remastering a game, and then don't explain it.
I think in terms of like open world, I think there's not been many few better examples of a great remaster in the past couple of years than there has been with the original Mafia. I thought that was fantastic, the way they remastered that.
Yeah.
Now that is a remake, like a remaster, a proper
Mafia
remaster.
deserves so much more love than it actually got.
But like the remaster was unbelievable. Like they changed the character voices, they cleaned them up, they cleaned the city up, they cleaned the graphics up. They literally changed the whole game, but kept the great story. But in terms of this Star Wars one that we're talking about here, like, I mean, I'm not going to pass judgment because I've obviously not played it. I hope it's still good. I hope Ubisoft can deliver. I don't want anyone to fail. I don't want the game to fail. I just like my final summary on it is like I said, if you need to delay it. But if not, you better be quick with bringing out some patches if people are disappointed with it, because people will fall off it as soon as they get on it.
Yeah, and you don't want people to purchase like your special editions and your pre-order versions for really cool extra content to the game's not even playable properly. Like,
yeah,
don't do us like that. I know you want our money, but like, give us a reason to spend our money. Because I feel like a lot of games don't do that at the current moment either. A lot of games will be like, here is 80 quid for the game, and then you could buy the season pass for another £25, and this will give you all this additional extra content. It's like, I remember the days where I could plug in a game and it was a full game. I want that.
Those were the days, eh? Those were the days.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get into the next segment, which I like to call Marvel's Must and Mayhem. Because Marvel is on an up and up. Marvel have decided to clap back at a lot of the fans with, we've had a kind of rough couple of movies, so here's a lot of Marvel content to get you interested in. So Deadpool and Wolverine has just literally premiered yesterday, and I think for everywhere else it premieres. Like some places it's already premiered. I know for the UK it premiered yesterday. And I know a lot of the first early viewings are going to be tomorrow for people. So, yeah, it's already got 80% on Rotten Tomato.
I'm going to go try and catch it over the weekend, dude. I can't wait.
My main thing I was going to ask you is, do you expect many cameos of other characters?
I think we have to see at least a couple, right? Like, surely, like, because, like, I believe Wolverine and Deadpool are getting introduced into the wider MCU after this film, right? So
yes,
you would assume that there is going to be some cameos. I would quite like to see maybe a cameo from like the Winter Soldier. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think he would fit in quite well with Wolverine. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, there's a lot of people who I would quite like to see in interact with Deadpool and Wolverine. Is there anyone you think in particular that could be interacting, like some other X-Men? Because it's difficult to say. Like I say, it's going to be a difficult process introducing Deadpool and Wolverine into the wider MCU, because Deadpool is obviously such a controversial character. He has been controversial for so long. He has been one of those characters who I mean, there is a reason why they've struggled for so long to bring him into the wider MCU. It would have been cool to see him in like the old Avenger movies, etc. But I'm glad they're finally doing it. I think it's about time. I mean, he's one of the most popular movie characters out there right now in terms of like superheroes. I don't think there's been a Deadpool movie that's like missed, to be honest with you. I don't think there's been a Deadpool movie. What's going on with my camera there? I don't think there's been a Deadpool movie in a good couple of years that has disappointed. I enjoy Deadpool 1. I enjoy Deadpool 2. I know for a fact I'm going to be enjoying Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm definitely going to go try see it over the weekend. That is going to be my goal for the weekend. I cannot wait to go and see it. Like I say, I hope we get to see some X-Men, more X-Men characters in the film. I honestly don't really know who we're going to be seeing though. Surely we're probably going to be seeing some like cameos from the previous movies. Like is she called like Negasonic Warhead or I can't remember her name. Like surely you're going to be seeing her in it. But I don't know in terms of any other big characters. I would try and get her into it. Yeah. What is going on with your internet today, dude?
Yeah, I think it's like Mega Supernova. Sonic. I don't know. Genuinely, like I have not had an issue all of today, other than like half an hour ago when I first crashed. It's like every 20 minutes or so it buffers. So I get what you say, but I have it slowed down like it's in 0.75 speed to then you go to ×2 speed. So like I'm working out what you're saying, but it's like it's not catching up with like when we're actually live and what's being said. So I don't know what genuinely is happening.
That is
the
odd.
reason I asked for what cameos you think, the reason why I think asked what cameos you think you could see, because yes, you are correct. Kevin Feige said this is what's going to introduce Wolverine and X-Men into the grander scheme of the MCU. Same with Deadpool. And I think we're going to see the death of a lot of the Foxverse, because Deadpool's going to have a lot of fun with that. So I think we're going to see some X-Men cameos of the Fox variations of them. And I think certain characters we haven't seen or haven't seen in a long time are going to show back up. I've heard rumors and I want them to be true. I haven't seen any spoilers. Apparently Wesley Snipes rocks up as Blade in one of the scenes. I want that to be true, because that'll be an absolute brain melt of how the hell did they get away with that? And I'm here.
I know. What the hell? That would be dope.
Apparently, the girl that played X-23 in Logan, she's meant to turn up as X-23 again as her teenager self. I can't remember the name. It was like Daphne something, I think. She was in Old Man Logan anyway. But yeah, she's meant to turn back up. And the big one for me, and I really want this to be true, apparently Channing Tatum as Gambit actually happens in this film.
Oh, okay.
Because you know how they hired him to be Gambit, but they never actually made it happen?
Yeah.
Apparently, they redeem it and make him be Gambit in this film, and he helps them out.
Brilliant. That's great. Yeah, I hope we see that then. That's cool.
Like, if that's true, I'm very happy. Like, I think Channing Tatum is kind of an underrated actor. I know, obviously, he gets a lot of stick for, he's only really done Magic Mike, and he's only really done 21 Jump Street. I think him playing Gambit is a perfect fit, because Gambit is this nonchalant, I'm a badass, but also, like, I'm this really cheesy, funny guy that speaks French. Like, I really want him to hit the Mon Ami and, like, him going Mademoiselle and everything, like he does.
I'd be up for that.
Series.
I'd be definitely up for that.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to it. I definitely need to try and organize seeing it, because it is huge for me. Deadpool is one of my favorite comic book characters in general. I have the pleasure of owning the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly start to finish, which is a comic book collaboration of Deadpool, Captain America, and Wolverine. So I hope some of the scenes in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie kind of play into some of that comic because that is one of my all-time favorite comics. But yeah, like Marvel also recently just dropped the X-Men 97 long anticipated third part of their season 1 finale, and they have just officially wrapped season 1 with a final to be continued, where they have all characters have been sent into different times in the world and have new characters. X-Men 97 is incredible. Like, if you've watched the original X-Men animated series, 97 is definitely worth picking up because it follows the story on. It opens new chapters and new doors to the storyline that were never really finished. A lot of things happen in it, and there's a lot of huge reveals. There's really cool moments where it plays into who really is the bigger threat, who is really the bigger enemy, and how people's different political viewpoints involve mutants and non-mutants. It even shows the Avengers involved in it and how they have to stand on, do we stand alongside the mutants because they are basically variations of us. We get to prance around as heroes, but they're everyday human beings with powers that they've been using for good when it's the X-Men, but other people are using those mutant abilities now for the wrong doing. Like, they literally show a scene where it has the Magneto protocol, where the government have literally set up a multi-stage plan just to stop Magneto. Because that's how much of a threat he is. Magneto destroys all the power in the world. Like, there is literally an episode where Magneto finds out the Sentinels, which are all these robots that are trying to kill all mutants. Basically, humans get the Sentinel virus, which turns humans into their own variation of like half human, half Sentinels. So Magneto finds this out and goes, okay, screw all of that. Boom. Because he knows he can control all the metal, he sends out such a magnetic psychic wave. He destroys all metal in the world, which takes out all power lines and all power in the world, and basically creates a mini apocalypse for like a month.
I need to watch X-Men 97. Like, it's something that I've been wanting to get into like for a while now.
X-Men 97 is the best way of getting X-Men content, personally. I'm a huge X-Men head. I could go on about X-Men for years. But you see perfect character development of Cyclops and everything he goes through, and his son and Jean Grey. You see the perfect balance of Nightcrawler and how Nightcrawler is literally a devil baby. That's how he is explained. He is created of someone who gains the powers from hell and Mystique. So, yeah. And his power is to teleport from dimensions. Yet he is a religious person that believes in faith. Every fight he has ever had, every situation he has ever been in, he has gone and questioned his faith, but always prayed to his faith. And it's such a like symbolic meaning of, yes, I look like the most sinister and darkest character in the world, yet I do everything by the right justice of God, and God knows I'm doing this for the right purpose. And also Nightcrawler is arguably one of the most badass characters because you see him grab 3 swords. He's got one in each hand, and then he curls his tail around for a third one, and he teleports and fights with swords. Coolest shit ever. Like,
that's pretty dope.
Dude is just dope. Also, what's really fun about X-Men 97, this is like going into another topic that I'm briefly going to go into. X-Men 97 does a lot of fighting game references from the Marvel vs. Capcom games. Like, they actually do the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting moves animated into the show, and it's absolutely perfect. They do they do Cyclops Enhanced Beam, which is like a level 3 super in the game, where he literally bursts even bigger with the laser beam because he uses more rage. You've got Rogue's Dive Kick, where she literally will jump off a wall or jump mid-air and then super kick down. She does that in the TV show. And there's also one where you could see Wolverine do his like multi-claw, which is also in Marvel vs. Capcom, where he literally will run across and he claws through multiple enemies, like slashes one and uses the momentum of bouncing off one to go through the other one. And it's just really cool that they do a lot of that. And as I said, with like going into another tangent, quickly, I just wanted to go over something that happened at Evo, which is the biggest fighting game tournament in the UK. Well, UK, US. It's worldwide, basically. It's the hugest fighting game tournament.
Yeah.
Evo had some really cool announcements. If you're into Tekken, Heihachi was meant to be dead in Tekken 7. That was the storyline. Heihachi ain't dead. Even though the game's development creator went, Heihachi's totally dead, they revealed a trailer that he is the most recent DLC and he's just rocked out of this volcano that he was thrown into to die. And you just see a giant scar in his chest from where he was punched into this volcano. And he's just there and he just goes, yeah, I'm Heihachi, what's up? So, like, no one could die in Tekken. Like, they're meant to be dead and he's just not. And it's the funniest shit ever. I love it.
Companies are so afraid to like kill off like main people, man.
Literally, I'm just like,
Right.
I'm fine if Heihachi died, but I just find it like a running joke now. Every few Tekken games, they're like, Heihachi, he is dead. And then they were like, nah, Heihachi's still chilling, my guy. Like,
Yeah, I'm sorry, right? I'm not being funny. Like, if you can get punched into a volcano and survive, then what? There's nothing that can.
Then what? Like, how else can you die? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's not dead.
But the biggest one, this might go over your head a little bit, but I just want to really touch on this because it's something that I've been super passionate about and not really got to explain it to many people. So Guilty Gear is an anime fighting game. It's one of my all-time favorite fighting games ever. It's basically all based around different music and things like that. Most of the characters have like certain musical background themes. There is a guy called Axl Low, and Axl Low is based on Axl from Guns N' Roses. Like that type of cool with Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear announced their newest DLC. They're bringing back two of my favorite characters in Dizzy and Venom. But Guilty Gear just did one of the biggest things that has happened in its like 12 to 13 years of history of Guilty Gear. They are finally having their first ever guest character. Every single time Guilty Gear has done a fighting game, it's either been brand new characters or it's been a previous character from Guilty Gear. It's never been a guest character that someone else has made from a different franchise. They are adding Cyberpunk Edge Runner Lucy. And I love this. I think that is such a cool merge of two things that I never saw happening.
It's pretty cool that they're throwing a Cyberpunk character in there. I quite like that. That's pretty cool.
Literally, I was just like, right, so Guilty Gear's never had a guest character. And the fact that they put guest character, and I was like, okay, guest character now, you have to drop an absolute banger. Like, because a lot of fans were going to kick off and be bad if it wasn't a good guest character.
Yeah.
If it was some generic, it's an anime mobile game character added in, people wouldn't like that. The fact they went, no, here you go. We pulled out a big gun. We've got Cyberpunk Edge Runner, which hit for a lot of people. Like that, for me, was anime of the year last year. Like that is one of my all-time favorite animes to go back and watch. That was on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like, here's Lucy, who is what's called a net runner in Cyberpunk. So she uses like these electronical whips, and she can hack into people. So I really want to see how they play her moveset in a game like Guilty Gear, which is very hectic and very creative playstyles out of characters. So yeah, it's super dope. I just wanted to go into that very quickly. That I'm super happy fighting games are getting love.
No, that's fine, dude. Yeah, 100%. Like you have to let me know how that goes. Are we discussing one more big subject and then wrapping up because we have been going for a while?
Yes, we have one last major subject, but there was another quick Marvel thing we didn't go over.
Go on.
I think you'll be quite interested. Obviously, Marvel Rivals beta has just came out. If you ever played Overwatch, it is basically Marvel's version of Overwatch. And a lot of people are already saying this has a lot of love and dedication. Characters that you select straight away have animated profiles. They dance around when you hover over them. They pop out at you. where Overwatch was very bland, characters didn't have much animation and stuff. So a lot of people are already praising Marvel Rivals. Game is a lot of fun. It's going to be free to play, and it's going to be on all consoles. So,
that's dope.
Yeah, so we should definitely get together and do like a mini sit-down stream of us all playing Marvel Rivals at some point.
Yeah, I'd be into doing that. That sounds dope. Yeah, let's Twitch stream it or something on YouTube. Stream it.
Because I think it'd be really cool to get all of us to play like at least our favorite Marvel characters. Because I know all of us at least have one favorite Marvel character, and like I'm already happy because they added Spider-Man in straight away. Like Spider-Man's a staple character in the series, so I'm great. And then obviously they've got like Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, Groot.
I was gonna say I'm playing as Rocket, dude. I love Rocket. Rocket's great.
Oh, they've got more obscure characters as well. This is what's really cool about it. So they've got Penny Parker is in it, and she's got like the full mech, and Punisher and Magic as well, which is from X-Men. So it's really cool what they've done so far.
I'll look forward to play that then. Bit of Marvel Rivals. I'll be down for that. 100%.
No,
you're still here, dude. Don't worry, I can hear you.
No,
you're still here for
now. Back in now. I can hear you.
Yeah, you've loaded back in. You're still here. I can hear you. Don't worry.
Nope.
I mean, I can hear you. Can you not hear me? Okay. No? Okay. Well, I'll start talking about something else if you want. Like while you're fixing your life story. Let's get into the final big subject of the night. None other than part 1 of the last season of Cobra Kai. Wow, the first 5 episodes. Oh my god! Like there's so much to get into. I don't want to take up too much of your time with me absolutely gassing up Cobra Kai. But if you haven't watched it, then you just need to watch it. You don't have to know what the Karate Kid is to watch Cobra Kai. Just watch Cobra Kai. All you need to know is Tori's out of the tournament, or is she? And Hawk is back in. He is going to the Saikai Taikai, whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. John Kreese has brought back Cobra Kai to go against Miyagi-Do, and he has brought back Tori. Tori has turned full heel. She has turned Darth Vader and gone back to Cobra Kai because she thinks no one else cares about her except for John Kreese. Just talking about Tori going back. She has turned Darth Vader, gone to the dark side, gone to Cobra Kai. Oh, dude. The first 5 episodes, like what did you think of?
She went full heel.
She turned heel, bro. She joined the NWO. What do you think? What do you think of Cobra Kai the first 5 episodes, dude?
Well, you know, you gotta thank me for reminding you Cobra Kai even came out. Like I literally did the day, talked to him like, oh wait, it's out.
Dude, I forgot. I totally forgot. And then my heart's broken. My heart's broken that we're waiting for another 3 months for the next 5 episodes, and then another 3 months again for the next 5 episodes after that. Like, what the hell is that about? You up? Dude, this guy's internet tonight is absolutely unbelievable. I feel like he's got a potato.
Legit, the wait is gonna be so painfully long.
Yeah. Yeah, that delay is unbelievable, my guy. Have you plugged your internet into a potato at some point today? Just waiting for you to catch up. Just waiting for you to catch up so we can talk about Miguel, so we can talk about Hawk, so we can talk about John Kreese, you know, Daniel LaRusso, anyone, you know, no, Ross, don't do this to me again. He keeps going away. His internet is falling faster than Miyagi-Do when Cobra Kai kicks their ass at the Saikai Taikai. I can't take this anymore, god damn it. Ross's internet is out of the tournament. He's been hit with the 1 point, 2 point, 3 points. He is gone from the tournament. It is just Rhys-Do still in the tournament. Oh, Ross's internet is just absolutely making me laugh tonight, I swear to God. But So, oh my God, I don't even know what to say about Cobra Kai because this guy is just absolutely distracting the hell out of me coming in and out. But I was so gassed when I found out the first 5 episodes were coming in. I was thanking him left and right. That it was actually reminded me that it happened. I'm so distracted right now. I can't. I just popped myself with that joke that I just did. Jesus Christ. So with Tori going to Cobra Kai, is she going to be turning face again? Because I feel like she's only fighting for Cobra Kai because that's the only option that she feels like she has left. I mean, she feels like Miyagi-Do, that Eagle Fang turned her back on her. You know, if she feels like, you know, Sam has kind of been given the advantage just because it's LaRusso's kid. You've obviously got Miguel there, who is the star of Miyagi-Do, along with Sam. And you've also got him. What's his name? What's Johnny Lawrence's kid called? What's his name? Johnny Lawrence's kid. What's his name?
Oh.
What's his name?
Yeah, no, you've made me blank out now because.
Oh, what's his name?
You got
what?
You got Miguel. You've got Miguel. You've got Hawk. I'm just going through characters now. Miguel, Hawk.
Oh, what's his name?
No, it's not Tommy.
Oh my God, what is his name?
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, please Google it. But anyway, yeah, you've got him still on Miyagi-Do's side. I'm gonna have to you're gonna have to clip something, by the way, when you went out before, dude. I wanted like a random little tangent. It was hilarious.
About me having a potato internet. I literally heard you said I had a potato as I.
No. I said like your internet's gone down for 1, 2, and it's only Rhys left in the tournament. And then I counted you out of it.
It's fucking Robbie. It's Robbie.
Robbie, of course it's Robbie. For God's sake, you've got Robbie still fighting for Miyagi-Do. Yeah, of course you've got Robbie still fighting for Miyagi-Do. You got to think that he's going to feel hurt that Tori's fighting for Cobra Kai. Everything that he hates about Cobra Kai, John Kreese, etc. It's going to be interesting what they do with Miyagi-Do and the next 5 episodes of Cobra Kai, because we're at the Saikai Taikai. Ross, what do you think is going to happen? Please tell me you're still there. Oh my God.
Sekai Taikai, I think someone is. Yeah, I'm still here. I think the Sekai Taikai, I genuinely think someone's going to be injured. Like, I genuinely think someone's going to get hurt. Just from the blood bandana and things. I'm going to move to my phone because I'm alive on the internet right now and my phone's doing a lot better with the internet. So I'm going to move to there. So give me 2 seconds.
Okay, that's absolutely fantastic. You did that.
Join via there. And then
you leave me alone once again because apparently I'm like running a one-man show this week. So with Robbie,
I'm trying to fix it.
I've got flashbacks of like bad internet from back in the day when I'm like, Jesus Christ, Xbox 360 days. So like I say, Robbie and Tori are on opposite sides. I think Sam's probably going to get really badly injured in the Saikai. Tori's probably going to feel bad about it. Miguel is going to be angry at Robbie. Maybe there's going to be a bit of tension on on Team Miyagi-Do. With Dimitri, that's going to be interesting because Hawk is now with Dimitri. And Hawk wasn't actually supposed to go. It was supposed to be the Eagle fangirl, who I don't really care about. She was supposed to go instead of Hawk, but obviously because Tori's left, it's left the spot open for Hawk, which I'm absolutely buzzing about because my boy, the All Valley champion Hawk, is my favorite character, and I was absolutely devastated when I thought he wasn't going to be in the Saikai Taikai. I was like, what the actual hell is going on? How are you going to leave out Hawk? My man, the best hair in the whole TV show, best fighter in the TV show, maybe apart from Miguel. But when you get like full heel Hawk, that's when you're going to see some. That's when you're going to see some great fighting from my boy. But yeah, I'm just excited for this next season, well, the next 5 episodes of Cobra Kai. They've kind of teased us. They've kind of, given us a bit of blue balls, like with these first 5 episodes. We're going to have to wait until like September, October for the next 5 episodes, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then apparently we're going to be getting 5 more episodes in the new year.
I should be back.
So,
hello? Can you hear me?
You are back. You are back. Hello.
Oh, I cannot hear you on here, though. Why is that?
God damn it. Jesus Christ. It feels like, has anyone ever seen the episode of Family Guy where Cleveland's trying to access his internet? I feel like I've got a partner here who doesn't who has potatoes for internet, and he's running out of potatoes, and now he's resorting to using McCain chips to power his internet. And they seem to be not doing a very good job, to be honest with you. All I can say is about Cobra Kai, I'm sad that it's coming to the end. I really am sad that it's coming to the end. I don't really like the way that they've releasing this, like over like a couple of months, every month or so, that they're releasing an episode. I would rather get them to release it maybe like 1 episode a week. If you're planning to release 15 episodes, then why don't you just release 15 like 15 weeks of episodes? I don't understand this whole let's release 5 and then move like 3 months on and then release another 5, and hey, we're in 2025 now and we've still got 5 episodes to release. What the hell's that about? I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah. Guys, I don't really know what's going on with like the internet like at the moment. I don't really know what's happening. There we go. Ross, can you hear me?
I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me?
Oh no!
You can't hear me? Oh no! What a shame! Like this is an absolute disaster. Yo, Ross, wrap it up. Should we wrap it up? Wrap it up. If you can see me doing it, I'll when it comes back in, I'll tell him to wrap it up. But like that is all I've got to say about Cobra Kai, to be honest, guys. I'm so sorry about Ross's internet tonight. I don't know what's going on with it. I really don't. All I can say is it's been nice, like talking about like the, like all the pop culture, about the Star Wars, about about the boys. It's been great catching up about all that sort of stuff, because we've been eating good. We've been eating real good for a couple of months now with like episodes and stuff like that, and like things. Ross, can you hear me?
Yeah, I finally can hear you. I don't know what was going on. Basically, it would join. I could hear myself, but I couldn't hear you.
It's fine, dude. I was gonna say like we might as well wrap it up, because like like it's been a bit of a disaster in the past like 10 minutes, so we might as well wrap it up. Yeah. I've kind of given my opinion on Cobra Kai. So I'll wrap up and just like say, it's been great chatting with all of you. It's been an interesting podcast, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry if this is the first time for you guys watching it. It's not usually like this, I promise you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, please. Like the video, hit this thumbs up and the bell so you never miss an episode. Please go follow us on all of our social medias, X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Outcasted OC. Go check out all the things that we've been talking about. Go check out Marvel Rivals, the beta that's just come out. Go check out X-Men 97. Go and watch The Boys and The Acolyte. And finally, go get yourself caught up on Cobra Kai, because we've got another 5 episodes coming in around the September, October time. So, with that being said, guys, I hope you've had an absolutely amazing day. Enjoyed the podcast. Have a great rest of your week. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.